Hello everyone and welcome down to episode number 17 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, and my good mate Down South, hence the name Down South Photo Show, down in Tasmania, Cam Blake. G'day Cam.
G'day Brendan, how you going?
Very, very well indeed. Very, very well. Having a very busy time at the moment. There's a lot going on. It's been a busy week already.
Beautiful.
We're recording this on a Thursday night, and it feels like I've crammed a lot into this week. So
we're making up for lost time. Yeah, I'm going well. Just a bit of a rainy day here in Tassie today, so I've been doing lots of email and just plodding around at home and cleaning up a bit of gear left over from the overland track tours that we just finished and things like that. So yeah, just business as usual, really, but miserable. So good forest weather today.
Yeah, there's been a power of rain again. I feel like we say this every episode, but this has been the wettest year that I can remember, particularly in this area. Everything's lush and green, and you can hear things growing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a nail in the ground and grow a crowbar.
That's a terrible effort. Put a nail in the ground and grow a crowbar. Right, yeah. I'm probably not going to use that one, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my dad for that one.
Yes.
Thanks Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. It has been a lot of rain, and we've got this big, massive. I just saw before we came online here, all the storm shots coming out of Sydney and New South Wales. Massive shelf clouds. I'd love to do some more storm photography like that. I reckon. I think that'd be pretty cool. I reckon.
Do you get a lot of storms where you are?
No. That's one thing I really do miss about Tassie, is that we just don't get the storms that we used. The Melbourne storms or the Country Victoria storms. Well, I think on average we get maybe down here in Hobart maybe 2 storms a year, and usually there may be 2 or 3 cracks of thunder, and that's it.
Yeah.
The northwest gets a bit more up closer your way. They get a bit, sort of comes down from Warrnambool, comes across the Bass Strait from Warrnambool way and cracks a few along there. So they get some pretty good storms up there, but we just don't have the heat down here for it. So
straight from Cape Otway to you.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely. So, but I do miss them.
You poor bugger! You'll just have to put up with all that awesome snow and mountains and amazing beaches to yourself. I don't know how you handle it, Cam.
That's tough, but you know what? Someone's got to do it.
A little bit of homework. Episode 16, which was recorded a couple of weeks ago. We're not 100% sure why, but I don't think it went out to all our podcast platforms. It definitely went live on YouTube, but it looks like it might be missing off a couple of our podcast platforms. So sorry about that, folks, but you can find it over on YouTube. We might even put a link to last week's episode there. I'm trying to get it sorted out, but for some reason I've re-uploaded it again and it still hasn't shown up. I think particularly on Apple Podcasts it hasn't shown up yet. So
maybe we're being kicked off.
Who knows? Probably.
Did we hang shit on everyone last episode?
Maybe there was too much football talk last week and they went, nah,
maybe because you used the Melbourne Demons theme song at the end, unlicensed. Maybe they said
yes. I got a copyright strike.
Yeah, maybe.
But I used the Spanish Flea music a couple of weeks ago, and that got through. Whatever. Anyway, we will try and fix that for you, folks. So if you want to catch up with episode 16, jump on our YouTube channel, and find it. But this is episode 17. We are nudging towards the 200 subscribers on YouTube. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we've only been saying that for the last 10 episodes.
Yeah, but we rushed out of the gates. This was our problem. We went hard early, and then.
You know what I think's happening though? I think all these amazing people that listen to us aren't really sharing it as much as they possibly could.
Right.
I think they need to put a little bit more effort in.
Yeah.
To sharing it around with their mates.
Yeah.
Especially their photography mates, because otherwise it's going to be pretty boring for people. So. Yeah. Get the little share button, copy a link, chuck it somewhere. Tell your friends, tell your foes, tell everyone.
That's right. Especially them.
Maybe we can give something away for like the 200 subscribers.
Oh, this is good. I like this. All right. Well, I'm sick of giving away your prints. I'm sick of you giving away your prints.
I was going to say, I reckon there's maybe an old Canon going to be up for grabs soon. That might not be getting used anymore, or an old Nikon.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe that could be an option. Well, maybe think about it through the episode. Let's not give it away just yet.
Okay, we'll think about it. At the end of the episode, we'll tell you what we're going to give away. That'll make you listen all the way to the end. Don't you hate it when people do that in podcasts?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Everyone just scrolled to the end now. Damn it.
Or maybe we'll just bury it somewhere in the middle.
So this week, this is what we've been up to this week. Both my shops are back in full swing, which has been fantastic. We've finally had a couple of weeks run at it, which has been great. Busy. Cool. Really good. I think the word has got out that there is going to be a bit of a mad scramble towards Christmas for getting materials and also for getting stock. So people are starting to shop a bit early, which is good. So there is going to be
a shortage in retail.
There's going to
shoppers, not for wholesale.
No. There's going to be a shortage of goods. Cameras are going to be in very short supply. Lenses are going to be in very short supply. Right. A lot of the materials that I use, picture frames, for example, the timber is just because a lot of my picture frames are Australian made. They're finding it so hard to get raw materials to make this stuff. Stretcher bars for canvases and all that sort of stuff is really already in short supply. So I'm starting a campaign actually next week to through camera and photo to encourage people to get in a bit early this year because it's going to be silly.
They call it silly season for no reason.
No, that's exactly right. So hopefully it'll be. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about Christmas. It's the 14th of as we record this, it's the 14th of October.
It is, yeah, it's nuts. Happy birthday, Noel. It's his birthday today.
Nice
72.
Really?
Older.
Happy birthday.
He's cracking on.
72? Well, for your birthday, Noel, you get a shout out on the podcast.
Yeah. Perfect. That'll get us to 200 subscribers. So, yeah, it's good that the shops are open. That's awesome. My week's been pretty hectic, actually, and I haven't been actually physically doing much. I've just been organising a lot of stuff. So I run the Overland Track photo tours, but I didn't run we had 2 women's only tours go out this last 2 weeks back to back. So we've had to get 12 ladies ready with backpacks and bags and food and stoves and everything like that, sleeping bags, and then back it up again, get it all washed and get it all prepared another trip. So that's been pretty hectic and driving around, picking them up and dropping them off and stuff like that. So I've been just travelling around Tassie, taking in all the sights, being a bit of a bus driver or using the minibus to pick people up. But I
could think of worse places to do that.
Yeah, exactly. The last trip that just got back, they had snow. They had -8 degrees out on the track in snow, which usually kills most of our guests. But these guys made it through.
like not literally.
No, not literally. There is a few times I've woken up and I'm thinking, those tents over there are very quiet. I don't know what's going on. But they made it out all right. And they had a ball, and there was plenty of tears of joy at the end. And it's really cool. But the other thing that's happening this week, for those who can't see, I'm wearing a T-shirt that has a hairy Tog character hanging off the bottom of a Westpac rescue helicopter. These have just arrived from my good mate Scotty in Melbourne. Thanks, Scotty. These are on sale now, and all the profits for these sales are going directly to the Westpac Rescue Chopper for Tasmania. So $40 for a T-shirt, $55 for a hoodie. If you go to thehairytog.com.au, so make sure you spell that right so you get to the right site. Thehairytog.com.au. It'll take you to there, and they're on the front screen. You can place your order now, but they come in all different colours, shapes, sizes, things like that. So, but all the profits of that are going to go to support the chopper that supports so many people down here. So get on it.
Well, I think the lemon one is quite fetching on you, Cameron.
Thank you. It wraps around my physique quite well.
I'm glad you didn't go green because you would have blended into your background.
I would have blended it back. I did. Funny, I did try a couple of colours on. I had a black one and I had a white one. The white one just threw the exposure out too much, so I went with yellow. But these are designed by a guy. The sketches are designed by a guy in Melbourne as well. So he does an amazing job, and it's got the chopper with the chopper colours, and it's got a little photographer hanging off a winch, which relates to a story of my helicopter rescue from a waterfall many years ago. So yeah, if people can support that, that would be great. thehairytog.com.au.
Awesome cause. Good work.
Yeah, thanks.
Love it. So our main topics for tonight, we've got...
Super excited about this one.
Well, there's a couple. Which one do you want to do first? Should we talk about my new camera? Or should we...
I think we've got to go with the reveal straight off.
All right, now this requires a little bit of a setup because, hand on heart, Cam has no idea what I've bought. Is that right, Cam? I have
no idea. No,
you have absolutely no idea.
I've got my suspicions, but I've got my suspicions, but I've already off air. I've already said I reckon you got that, and you gave me nothing. So I have absolutely no idea what you bought. But now I'm thinking you might have bought something left field. So I don't know.
Well, you know, it's actually the first new camera I've owned in 2 years. And it was a lot of thought went into it, but I finally got. Would you like me to reveal it?
you know what? Let's keep it to next week. Let's reveal what you got. Yeah, maybe see if I can guess. Maybe give me a few hints. And again, I'm just checking my mic here. It looks like it's going to that, but yeah. Give me a few hints because I honestly don't know.
Okay.
And
I'll give you a couple of hints. The best camera is the one you got on you. Here's the first hint.
Yep.
Yep. It's it's got a hell of a lot of options. It's definitely mirrorless. There you go. There's a good one. Brendan has gone mirrorless.
Okay. It's got a lot of options.
It's got a lot of
highly
options.
Customizable.
It's incredibly customizable. And I guarantee that if I gave you 3 guesses, you wouldn't get it.
Right. Okay. Mirrorless.
Now this might be the biggest dud of a reveal of all time. You might just go, "Are you effing kidding me?"
Well, okay. Well, I reckon I thought you were going Sony.
Right.
But now you've got me going a different direction. I'm going to say a Nikon Z series.
Oh, wow! I just couldn't go there. I looked at them, but I just couldn't go there. Okay. Are you ready?
In that case, I've got no idea.
Are you ready? Here it is. I have bought an iPhone 13 Pro.
That's your new camera.
That is my new camera, and I am not kidding.
What?
That is my new camera.
What are you doing?
You're genuinely shocked. You are genuinely shocked.
What are you? What are you doing? Going to it? Where's the lens and where's the bit on the front and all that jazz?
I know. You look at you.
Trying to start a new trend or something?
I'm not trying. Well, get on board an old trend. No,
I'm waiting for the real camera, the Rocco.
No, I looked through all the gear that I currently owned. And I looked through all the options to upgrade it and spend the money to go to a Sony SLR. And we know that I was looking at Sony very, very closely.
Yeah.
And I may very well end up with one down the track. However, I was reading a lot of the reviews on the new iPhone 13 Pro. I've come from an iPhone XR, which I loved as well, but the camera fell way short on the XR. Good camera, but not at the kind of level that I need it to be. And I just went, you know what? I'm going to upgrade to the iPhone 13 Pro. So that's what I've bought.
I can't believe you revealed an iPhone. It's sort of ruined the whole show now.
No, this has gone absolutely perfect because it's thrown a massive curveball at you, and you're not sure if I'm legit, but I'm telling you, I am 100% legit. I'm going to be using this thing for the next probably 6 months, maybe longer, before I upgrade my SLR gear. So getting back to the story, I looked at what I currently own, and the SLR like mirrorless and stuff like that, I don't think it would have improved on what I already have in terms of the kind of shots that I'm into, obviously landscape. And a big part of that was actually what I did during the week, which is coming up, what we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the podcast as well. you know, and if I look around my little studio now, my studio, listen to me, my shed now, you know, I've got a Nikon SLR over there, I've got a Canon SLR over there, I've got access to all the Sony gear if I want to. I've got friends who are happily just here, go and shoot with this. They don't, you know, Michael, who works with me, owns all the Sony gear, and he's happy to always lend it to me. So so at the end of the day, the decision was made to get a camera that I can have with me at all times, so it always comes on every shoot, and the level of intelligence and the level of just the quality that this camera now delivers in an iPhone is bizarre, is how good it is. And what I'm going to do...
I'm still shocked.
I know. What I'm going to do right now is throw a couple of photos up on the screen that I took not 45 minutes ago down on the beach.
Right.
And you'll see what I mean. It is absolutely bonkers, this thing. It's got an incredible macro function, which I'm looking at it going, how does a phone do this now? Like, it's brilliant. It's got an ultra wide angle lens now, so it shoots at an equivalent of 13 millimeters, which is pretty awesome. And of course, the big area where it's going to fall down is its zoom. So it doesn't have a zoom lens. All right, so that's where I'm going to go back to, you know, wanting to use my SLR a lot more. But I'm staying out of the new camera market for at least the next 6 months.
Why?
2 reasons. One, Sony are about to drop a couple of new models, and I had that, you know, that thing where you go, I'm going to get that, the new one's just around the corner, so you'd feel really sort of annoyed.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, and 2, I am about to head into my busiest time of the year, and I'm not going to have a lot of time to go out and use this gear anyway. So I'm happy to hold off for that amount of time. So
that's 2 smart reasons. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
But I know you're not sold on this idea at all.
I'm not sold at all, and it's funny that the timing of this is incredibly good, because I did a camera talk last night down here to a club in Tasmania, or the night before last, and I was doing my presentation, and there was a person in the audience who asked me about iPhones and would I ever see the camera industry always use, like, going purely to iPhones versus SLRs and mirrorless things and like that. And I said, look, and it's gonna kick you in the teeth, but I said, look, you know, I think that the real passionate photographers and the real photographers are always going to want a lens choice and a bit more control over things. And I said the people that are maybe a bit of a younger generation, more of a social media generation, they're going to probably stick to iPhones and things like that. So now you've just thrown a complete spanner in that.
Well, I mean, the rider on it all is I'm not going to go out with just my iPhone ever. I'm always going to have the camera gear in the gear that I've been shooting with for ages is still going to come with me. It's just when I started looking at videos and reviews and stuff on the 13 Pro, I'm just like, hang on, this has taken a big leap. This is the next level. It looks to me like it seems every sort of second or third generation iPhone, they do something to the camera, and this is that model that's gone to the next level with the camera. You know, for example, the sensor in it is now pretty close to what you'd find in a very high-end compact camera. Like I think I'll have to find out the sensor size exactly, but it's almost, I think it might even be a 1-inch sensor. So, you know, it's getting up there. Like it's pretty good.
It is getting up there.
Yeah,
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah. So there's
iPhone 13 Pro.
Yeah. So half-inch sensor. What did I say 1 inch for? Half-inch sensor size. So, you know, the proof will be in the pudding, and I took a couple of photos tonight. It was a nice sunset. It was actually really quite nice down there, and I've got a couple of photos that I'm going to chuck up on the walls in my gallery, and I guarantee you they will sell. In fact, I bet I sell a photo out of that iPhone before we do our next podcast.
Wow, there's a big statement. Because that was like that time I walked into your house and you had that massive panorama on the wall of the Swiss Alps. And I went, oh, that's great. And as soon as I looked at it, and you sort of gave me this cheeky look. I'm like, all right, that's an iPhone shot.
You're like, God damn it!
So you've been an iPhone fanboy for a while now.
Oh no, I have, and mainly because of my nature is, I don't want to say I'm a lazy photographer, but I probably am. I like the instant gratification that it gives me.
Yeah.
And I love the art of photography. For me is all about the composition, and the quicker I can get to just making compositions, the better. And I think and of course the portability of it. It's just like I can go for a 20k walk just with that, and happy days. You don't have to carry anything.
Walk? Come on now.
Did I say 20? I'm doubling everything tonight.
Although you ride a bike 100k. Well, here you go. Here's the camera specs for the iPhone 13 Pro.
For those playing along at home.
It's got a 12 megapixel camera system phone. Telephoto wide angle, ultra wide angle. It's got a 2.8 aperture at telephoto.
Yes.
It's got a 1.5 aperture at wide and 1.8 at ultra wide. It's got 3 times optical zoom, 2 times 15 times digital zoom.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at what the sensor is.
We won't talk about digital zoom, of course.
No, digital zoom is not worth it. It's got sensor shift optical image stabilizer.
The video mode on it's bizarrely good. Like it's crazy. It's got this new cinematic mode, which just is nuts. I took that for a bit of a spin tonight as well.
I'm just trying to find the actual specs of the sensor on there. Maybe that's a trade secret. It's not on there. I can't see the.
Maybe it is. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what. I'll find it and I'll put it on the screen.
That's fine.
Yep. Look at you. You're so disappointed. I love it. You're gutted.
I'm a bit shattered because I know phones are getting good, and I've got no issue with people using phones, but I still find it hard to sit there and say to people, or accept that people say that, this is a proper photo and a proper phone or a proper camera, and it's as good as everything else. So I'm still a bit old school with that.
Whereas
I've a long way to go.
I understand that, and the line of thinking for me is that the two can coexist very, very well. And I think the tools of the trade, although the lines are starting to get more and more blurred, there's always going to be your real camera, your SLR camera, and then there's going to be this compact, be it a phone, probably a phone system, that's got computational photography, and it's the software that is going to dominate. And it's the software, even now. I mean, the software in, the firmware software that you find in a for example, Olympus.
Yeah.
Now, Olympus, a lot of the wizardry of the Olympuses over the last 5-6 years haven't really been so much in optical technology or sensor technology. It's been in their computational technology. So, for example, built-in ND is a software thing. What's that thing where it can actually takes photos before you push the shutter button? Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, the pro shoot mode and stuff like that.
All that sort of stuff, and that's where things are headed. There's no doubt about it. And for me, now, the company at the cutting edge is Apple, and they have been for quite some time when it comes to the software side of things. So when you get that really nice marriage of the two, it works really well. One other thing I really enjoy doing as well is I love editing my photos, and I love being able to take a photo, edit it in something like Snapseed, and then and again, it's not a photo that I think I'll make a massive canvas out of and chuck on the wall and try and sell it for $2,000 or $3,000. I think for me, it's more about being able to quickly take a photo anywhere and being able to do a decent enlargement out of it. And like I've said this many times in this podcast already, even though we're only 17 episodes in, but I've said it many times. I don't sell photos to photographers. I sell photos to the general public who have a general affinity with Ocean Grove, the Bellarine Peninsula, my backyard. Yeah. And that's what works for me. And it's actually funny because of late, it's got to a point where very few people now ask me what camera I use. And I'm not sure why that is. It used to happen all the time. People would always, oh, what gear do you shoot with? And it's like, and it's probably because, okay, I mean, they're in a camera shop per se, so you get a lot of photographers. They're going to ask me.
Yeah.
But the people that buy my photography, they don't.
Well, I reckon. Yeah, and I reckon that's where you're talking about your change. Maybe your clientele coming into the shop now is normal, just Joe Blows, not anything to do with photographers, so to speak, that is there for the nice imagery and getting their photos done and stuff like that. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, people don't necessarily ask anymore, oh, what was that shot on? Generally, unless they're a photographer themselves.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, what did you shoot that on? Or what lens was that? Or what are your settings on that? So, that's definitely a bombshell for the episode.
I knew it would be. I'm quite happy with myself.
You're sitting there pretty chuffed, there's a wobble going on. I reckon, and I don't know, it's definitely a completely different world to what it was 20 years ago. But I remember when we were working at Camera House that I'm pretty sure we even had like a big training session with it and saying, these new phones are coming out, they're going to take over photography. In 5 years' time, there'll be no such thing as a DSLR, it'll all be phones. Well, we're getting there, not at the same rate, but we're getting there to the pointy end where, those phones are catching up to the higher end cameras. But yeah, horses for courses.
Yep.
I must admit, I use my iPhone a lot for video these days. If I'm doing like little vlogs and things like that, and I use it as a composition tool because, as you said, images is all about composition. I find that a really easy tool just to point down and go, hey, that might work or might not work. Before I get crazy set up with my gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I've done a lot of as well. It's really, really handy for that. But it's also going to be great now that the quality of the image that I'm previewing is going to be probably good enough to use. So that'll be interesting.
Right. Very cool.
Okay. As has become our thing of late, I'm going to have to pause the podcast because my dog is scratching at my door because there's a thunderstorm coming. So I shall be right back. And anyway, we're back. So after that little interlude, so moving right along after that just absolute bombshell news.
Here you go. After that shocking news, get it? Shocking thunderstorm.
Right, yes. This is actually pretty cool. We're probably going to experience a thunderstorm while I'm recording this podcast here in lovely Ocean Grove. So if this all just drops out and goes completely pear-shaped, sorry guys, it was, I might have to sneak out. Might have to sneak out and get some photos with my new iPhone.
So just out of curiosity, and feel free not to answer this question, how much did you drop on your new iPhone? A couple of $1,000?
It was my other phone was out of contract.
Okay, you win then.
So even better.
Even better.
And now it's a business phone as well.
It's a write-off.
It's the whole thing. Well, it's awesome.
I don't even know what phone I have.
Is it an iPhone?
I've got a relatively new phone.
When did you get it?
I got an iPhone 12 Pro.
There you go.
So, yeah. All right.
There you are.
So we've done the camera reveal. Disappointing as it was.
Yeah.
But that's okay. What are we on to now? You got
for 50% of us, it was disappointing.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I'll probably get nailed to a cross here because everyone go, oh, you've got to embrace the new technology and you've got to do this and you've got to do that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sure there'll be 50-50 split on the different, and probably half the audience now won't take me seriously, but it's all right, guys. I'm still shooting SLR. Don't worry.
That's right. 50% of this podcast is still a photographer. It's okay.
That's right. The other one's just some dude with a phone. What I wanted to talk about as well was so last week managed to sneak away for a couple of days, which was awesome, absolutely needed. Happened to be my son's 13th birthday, so we decided we would head away. It was awesome. The kids did homeschooling in the car.
Beautiful.
They were homeschooling anyway, so we thought we'd head down. And we went down to Apollo Bay, down on the Great Ocean Road. Had a couple of nights down there. And the best part about Apollo Bay is you can take a half an hour trip in the car up into the Otways, and you come to some absolutely stunning waterfalls, which, Cam, I reckon you visited not that long ago.
I did, when I was up there, June it was. May, June. I think we went and did we did most of those waterfalls. You probably went and saw as well. So,
yeah. So,
and that was the first time I'd actually been to. Is it Hopetoun Falls?
Hopetoun Falls.
That's the first time I've ever been there, and I lived in Melbourne for 30 odd years. So I never went there. I don't know why. So.
Absolutely cracking place. Here is my photo of Hopetoun Falls that I took while we were there. I'm going to put that on the screen for you. And the reason I wanted to talk about it was because I went up there as we went up. I got my gear and stuff, got it all ready in the car, and had my tripod and had my Canon and my wide-angle lens and all that sort of stuff. And I decided to use your approach, Cameron. So what I did, instead of
drink a few cans of beer, then go take photos.
No, I decided to smash my own knee and call for a helicopter.
Only the experts do that.
That's right. No, I
Now, hang on a sec. Based on your reveal of camera, did you really get helicoptered out? Because I don't know what's going on here.
That's right. That's what's up is down and down is up. It's all gone crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So I decided I'm not taking a neutral density filter like I normally would, because here's the thing: when you go into these waterfalls, unless you're prepared to be there at the absolute crack of dawn and go down to the waterfalls with torchlight, or be there at absolute last light and therefore go out in the dark and all that sort of stuff. I had the kids with me, I had my wife with me. I decided, no, I'm not. We're going to be there in the day, and I'm not taking an ND filter. All I'm going to use is a circular polarizer, which is the approach that you've mentioned a couple of times on this podcast. And I thought, okay, it's been a while since I've done it this way, but it's also I've never done it with the current cameras that I own, and I worked out really quickly that the circular polarizer gives you enough darkness, stops the camera down enough to give you, even in broad daylight, an easy half a second shutter speed if you want to do the slowing of the water. So it was actually really cool, because it was funny, because as I was leaving the car, I'm like, the ND filter's out. No, don't even take it. So it was,
if they're not there, you can't use them.
No, that's right. So I really enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed using the circular polarizer and twisting it and seeing exactly what it does, and how stark the difference really is when you take the glare out of your photo. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing that I still don't think people really understand, is that the circular polarizer takes reflections out of everything but metallic surfaces. So forget your buildings and your cars and your pieces of metal. That's don't worry about that. But if you're in a forest, like for example the photo behind me here, every single leaf, every single bit of foliage, every bit of moss, every tree, everything's reflecting skylight. And if you can take that reflection out, then you just get this pure green heaven of colour. And where you were at Hopetoun Falls and the other ones there, like waterfalls are green. That's what they do. It also makes the water look more inviting. It doesn't just have a glare off it. It'll have like some, you can see the stream properly. And so, it's like so crucial that people use them, but so many people just don't put them on anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah. And do you think that's because there's now almost an addiction? Yes. Well, that too. Do you think there's now more of like almost an addiction to a neutral density filter? These have become the go-to filter.
Yeah, I do, and I think it pushes back to me a little bit social media, and the influence of social media is so many people started off taking shots of landscapes and waterfalls and things like that. And early on in the day, everyone was chucking on a 6-stop neutral density filter or a 10-stop neutral density filter or whatever it might be. And they're getting good results and getting good stuff coming through. But the problem is that people get lazy with that, and then they just think, well, I'll just chuck it on every time I'm doing something and hope for the best. So I think they're overused a bit, and I think they have a purpose. I think they're purely a tool in the toolbox, and I think they should be used sparingly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And everything's frozen. Brendan's gone.
Yeah, apologies because
I can't all by myself.
Yes,
we'll be back soon.
Well, we'll see. Right, can you hear me at all? I know. I think the storm is starting to take over. I think.
Yeah.
Oh well. Shall we push on?
You're breaking up big time now.
Oh yeah. I can see the feed. It's terrible. And we are back after some technical difficulties. We think the little thunderstorm might have had something to do with it, but everything went pear-shaped all of a sudden.
all of a sudden, I was hosting the show all by myself, and I was practically the solo guest.
It was the photography gods having a crack at me for buying an iPhone.
I think you're right. I think there is some merit behind that because...
Yeah. And do you want to know what the irony is? Do you know what has saved this meeting? I am now on the iPhone 13 Pro.
Yeah. I was, the new phone's actually doing it. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
It does everything, this camera.
And my background is a photo that I took tonight down by the beach.
Oh, yeah? Where's the shadow detail? I'm just checking.
Oh.
There you go. Don't hurt yourself. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Good dynamic range. It's great.
It's pretty cool. And that's unedited. That's straight out of the phone.
Right. Anyway. Nice work.
But we're going to have this argument a lot, I think, as time goes on. It's made things spicy. I like it.
Yeah, I got no idea where we were before a recording dropped out.
So we were talking about my my adventure with Waterfalls.
That's right. Yeah.
And down at the Otways, which I really, really enjoyed. It was awesome to get back out there and get behind the camera again. Yeah. The weather wasn't ideal, wasn't great, but didn't care. It was good to be, as I say, back out shooting again. But I went there with your way of thinking of shooting with just circular polarizer, which worked really well.
Yeah. Cool.
I also took some advice from a bit of feedback when I shot Hopetoun Falls last time.
Yeah.
I put one of my photos of Hopetoun Falls up on one of the websites. It might have been Insta or might have even been Flickr. Remember that?
I do remember Flickr. Yes.
Yep. It might have even been up on Flickr.
Yeah.
And someone commented that because I'd used such a long shutter speed, I'd captured movement by wind with the ferns, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That all blurred as well.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I know how to fix this. So I did my 2 exposures. I did one exposure for the waterfall and one exposure for the ferns, and then did a little blend. So that photo that I put up on the screen before and probably will throw up there again, that is a blend of 2 exposures, one for the water and one for the ferns. So if anyone wants to know how to do that, drop us a line and we'll talk about it.
Can you show me
how to do that?
Oh, yeah, I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't do that. But I like the fern movement.
Yeah. This is the thing. I liked it as well. And there was a lot of people said, no, the fern movement's cool. We like that. But I wanted to see how it would look with the blurred water and the sharp ferns, and it does add a different dynamic to the image. But I'm a fan of using all the tools at my disposal, and I think I might do a bit more exposure blending soon.
Yeah, okay.
I quite like it. It's good. It helps you to tell more of the story, or helps me tell more of the story how I want to tell it.
Yeah, so, I think that's what we've established just in this episode as well is that everyone shoots completely different. So different cameras, different methods, different filters, different processes, different everything. So for people out there listening who think, oh my God, which way do I shoot, or I'm not doing it right, or am I doing it wrong? It doesn't matter. You shoot the way you want to shoot, and if it's working for you, you keep running with it. So. And I think that's where people get a little bit mixed up as well, is that they try and follow trends or try and follow other people and what they're doing, which is
I don't think they get mixed up. I think they get hung up. Like they're like, why is you don't have to do it the way they did it.
No, that's right. No, that's right. And I think hung up's the right word. Sorry. Where I think people they sort of get locked into thinking, well, I better maybe try and keep doing it this way because their shots look so much different to mine, and that, or So I think, and again, social media has got a big part to play in that because we get flooded with so many images these days. And I do it myself. I'm like, geez, that's a nice shot. Maybe I'll go and do something like that. Or I wonder how they did that. How'd they get those ferns not to move and the waterfalls there? All those kind of questions. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole time with landscape photography in particular, I think subconsciously you're influenced anyway. And we've talked about this before with when, like the photos that we saw in National Geographic magazines before the internet, or Australian Geographic and these sort of things. Peter Dombrovskis, his work, you see this stuff before. Ken Duncan, these kind of guys that were around long before, like in the 80s and 90s, when we were being influenced, whether we liked it or not. We were being influenced by those people. So
you can take ideas and you can be influenced. There's nothing wrong with being influenced.
Yeah.
But what we strive to do, and I think this is where we do have common ground, is that we always tell people to try when you get to a location, particularly a popular location, try and do your own thing. Try and get your own composition, because that's what pushes you.
Yeah, and I think that's what accelerates your learning as well. Is if you can go to somewhere and you can say, look, I'm confident I can get that shot of the Sydney Harbour Bridge or something like that, that's fine, I can get that. But if I can get my own little spin on it and get my own little feel on it and get something different that no one else is sort of getting, I think that trains your eye quicker to start looking at things differently. So I know I do it. I get to all these places that I'm going to Uluru at the end of the month, and I know I'm going to get that classic shot, and I'll probably do the Field of Lights or whatever it's called, and I'll do all that kind of stuff. But then I know in the back of my head, I'll be like, all right, so I want to get my own Cam Blake feel on this, and how can I get shots that I haven't seen? And so,
and you hit on a good point, because I think just with experience comes the Cam Blake look, right? And it's funny because if you go back through my gallery of photos over the last 15 years, they do have, there's something similar. There's something that links them all. And I think that can be said for your work as well. There's something, I don't know, I know it's easy to put your finger on, but there is definitely something.
I think it's a lot of people talk to me about how do you design your own style of photography, and I think, whether or not and you can do that through lots of different angles. Like you can do it through what lens you use. You might just say, well, I'm a landscape photographer, but I'm going to shoot 200 mil the whole time. There's a really cool guy up in Bright, Charlie Brown, Mount Beauty. He shoots all the Alpine region, and he shoots everything at telephoto. Completely different aspect to what you're normally used to. So, it can be that, or it can be black and white or color. There's a style. It can be how you edit it. You can edit it, high contrast, low contrast, high saturation. Like there's so many variances that you can chuck on your images to create your own style. Sometimes I think it's good just to have those blinkers on times and not worry about what everyone else is doing, and just go with what you naturally think looks good and feels good, and shoot that way. But yeah, you're right. It takes time to get that style together. And then I think it takes even more time, or maybe more confidence, to actually stick with that as well. So there's been plenty of times I've shot images and I've looked at my images and gone, okay, well, looked at so-and-so's images. I'm like, oh, they look really nice. Mine don't look like that, but maybe I should shoot more like that. Or maybe, look, that guy looks like he's doing well selling pictures. Maybe I need to shoot like that. And it's sometimes quite hard to not deviate off your path and go follow someone else's subconsciously. But yeah, but I think once you, again, like you said, with practice, you start picking your style up, and you'll find your way eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really interesting discussion point on styles, and I mean, where I'm based, there are, as I've said before, there's a lot of photographers here, and I like to think of the better photographers out there. They've started to break through with their own style, and you can see when their photos get posted on the community notice boards and places like that, I can generally pick who took it without even looking at the name. So no, that's very, very cool. Anyway, getting back to the shoot up at the Otways, awesome spot. So if anyone's wants to head out there, you can do the whole area above Apollo Bay in a day. If you want to, you can head out to a place called Beach Forest, which is
that is a cracking spot. That road into Hopeton Falls through that beach forest, I wanted to stop on every single corner and shoot something, but it's the most narrow. It's probably the most narrowest road in Victoria. But I want to go back there and explore that area, because that is a
So what you're talking about there is called Turton's Track.
Right.
Turton's Track. Have I got that right? I've probably got it right. Turton's Track. And it's really narrow, winding. It's one lane, but it's two ways, so it can be a little bit sketchy at times as well. It's quite often closed in high winds and stuff for trees coming across and all that. But it's a ripping little spot. And so basically, if you go from Apollo Bay and you head up towards, you go to Skeens Creek and then head up towards Forest, you'll see a left-hand turn to Turton's Track, and you go in there and follow your way to Beach Forest. It's absolutely magic. And then down from Beach Forest, you've got 3 waterfall options. You've got Hopeton Falls, which is what I've been showing you on the screen here and what we're talking about. You've got Beauchamp Falls. Beauchamp Falls is currently closed. They've had a lot of storm damage through there, and they're doing a lot of renovations. The walk to Triplet Falls is the other one.
Yep.
So we went to Triplet Falls as well.
I didn't see those ones.
That brand new $2 million walk that's been all refurbished is closed. It had storm damage. So they do have they have a one-way walk to Triplet Falls, which is great. At least you still get to go and see the falls.
Yeah.
But the big flash new loop track has been closed, unfortunately. So they're fixing that up again. And then as you carry on from Houghton Falls, you come to the Redwood Forest as well, which is brilliant.
I was impressed with that whole area up there. And you know, I live in a place where forests are plenty, and really good forests are plenty down here. But that beech forest and that whole redwood area, I was really, really excited about that. And we went to the waterfall, and again, we saw that Triplet Falls road was closed, and a few of them were off limits. But just that whole little forest section, the road, and I would have spent hours in there if I had hours. But definitely go back there.
It's very cool. The Great Otway National Park. It's a funny thing when you look at a map of it. It sort of has almost tributaries that come out and then go up certain valleys, and right next to it is forestry area, which is getting logged all the time and all that sort of stuff. So which creates its own sort of cool landscapes in a way. At the moment, there's a big area that's just been logged, and it looks like a nuclear bomb's gone off. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But, and then you go around a corner and then you're in this lush, subtropical rainforest.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of Tassie as well, because we got the same. We've got like this amazing forest that backs off a forestry roads.
Yeah.
And then, you go from, there's a place in Tassie called the Tawata Arch, which is in the Tarkine region, and it's an incredible big sinkhole, limestone sinkhole, amazing man ferns, like 20-meter man ferns, the whole lot. But you drive in there and you drive through Forestryville. You literally, like, it's just forestry, and there's a border, and you go from forest trees to what's behind me, just like that. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, we're in the forest," and the light just drops, and all the moisture comes in, and it's incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing when you literally cross a physical line between forestry area and then wilderness. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it. Very cool. So if you're down that way, I highly recommend you get up and check out the waterfalls. If you want any advice to go and have a look, drop me a line. I'm happy to talk to you about that.
Next year, I'm going to start trying to run workshops up there. You and I actually are going to run workshops up there.
Nice. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'll run iPhone workshops.
Yeah, you can take those people, and I'll take the cameras. I'll take the photographers.
You can take those people. Listen to you.
The bloody iPhone. All right, moving on. I'll get over it.
Now, last week we introduced a new segment, the photography horror stories.
Yeah.
And Cam has put one here for me to read, and I haven't pre-read it, so this is going to be.
I hope it's not an iPhone one. No, it's not.
It probably is. This is Phil from Brisbane. Hello, everyone in Vegas.
What a spot.
Part of the world.
Yeah,
that's good there. Talk about landscape photography on the doorstep of some awesome places there.
Yeah. How good's our country? I'm going to be Scott Morrison, so how good's Australia? But how good is Australia? Like, photography-wise, you've got everything. It's incredible.
We're very, very lucky to have what we've got here in Australia. Horror story. This is from Phil in Brisbane. October 2020, Brighton, Queensland. Early morning, packed the car for a sunrise on the old bridge. Decided I wanted to get down under the bridge for a shot.
Sounds a bit like you.
Starting well. Put my tripod on the sand to support myself, lift my left leg, and down I went.
Yeah.
Had a look, only a small amount of blood. So I wrapped my right knee in my hanky and continued to take my planned shots. That is commitment, Phil. I like it. Feeling okay, I drive 45 minutes home. 6:30 a.m. Woke the missus to drive me to the hospital. A day in emergency, admitted, and an operation. 8 stitches, cracked kneecap, damaged ligament, 4 days in hospital. 9 weeks off work.
I love this. I love this bit.
The wife now gets upset if I go near rocks and always tells me to stay away from the rocks.
That's.
And then on another side note, while photographing a local waterfall, I slipped and jarred my shoulder, but the filter on the lens saved my lens. But that's another story. That's awesome, Phil. That's very, very cool. That's a proper horror story.
The moral of the story, folks, for everyone, all of our 190 odd subscribers, if Phil from Brisbane asks you to go out for a photo shoot, make sure your health insurance is updated, and the Westpac chopper, who do work in Queensland, are ready to go, because it sounds like Phil might be an accident waiting to happen.
Yes,
or has happened.
Stay away from thunderstorms, Phil. We don't want you out. That's a cracker. That's
not bad.
Yeah,
9 weeks off work. But the thing is, I think the second email he sent to me, which I didn't put on there, he got the shot though.
Now we want to see it.
All right. Well, Phil, if you're listening, I don't think he sent it to me. Oh, big bright screen.
Right. We want to see the shot that cost you 4 days in hospital and 9 weeks off work. That's very, very impressive.
I don't think he sent me the shot. Oh, maybe what's that one? Hang on. Maybe he has. He has sent me the shot. We'll put the photo up, Phil.
Here it is.
Bang. It's a good one.
Nice. Is it?
Good.
Okay, I can't see it, so I'm going to take your word for it. Wow, It's awesome.
Maybe not. It's maybe not worth 9 weeks off work, but it's probably definitely worth getting up for.
Phil, there you go. Well, if you have got a photography horror story that you would like us to share with the world, please send it in to us. Also, if you have a question for our Dear Cam segment, send it in. That's where my mate Cam over there answers your questions to do with photography, and or he makes it up, or we Google it.
It's probably a bit of everything, isn't it? A bit of a mixture of those three things.
We will answer your question.
We will answer your question. And if you can outdo Phil's horror story, that's going to be a tough one to top, I reckon.
That was an absolute doozy. We like it.
Yeah.
So we are getting close to time on our very disjointed podcast slash.
It's been a nightmare tonight, hasn't it?
It's been crazy. And the funny thing is, the storm hasn't really happened like that bad. There was a bit of a light show a minute ago and a bit of roll of thunder, but that's been about it. So
yeah, it's just coming through Geelong now.
Oh, okay. Well, there's time for me to go out and get some photos.
And the radar's red and black. Is that good?
It's good for lightning and thunderstorms and stuff.
Just don't go with Phil.
That's right. Now, a quick. What have we got coming up this coming week, Cam?
Yeah. What have we got coming up this week? What have I got? I haven't got much going on. The weekend there was meant to be a little outing. I got a little Facebook group down here in Tassie that we organised through COVID times, where people get out and just let a load off and chill out and go take some photos. We're meant to be going to Bruny Island on Saturday, but we're expecting 100 mil of rain, so we're probably not going to do that anymore. So this weekend will be pretty quiet, I reckon. And then I've got to edit some photos I've taken over the last couple of weeks. And that's about it, really. There's not much going on until the end of the month, until I go to Uluru. So I'm just having a bit of downtime before here and there. So, yeah.
Awesome. That can't come soon enough. That'll be brilliant. You're going to love it out there. I'm very, very jealous.
What have you got coming up?
We're hard at it. Back to business, as I say. So lots of work is coming through for me. So I'm very grateful for everyone who's supporting cameraandphoto.com.au. Jump on there and have a look. Just a quick little rewind. How did you go with BFOP last week?
BFOP, the Bright Festival of Photography, really, really good. I'll give you the 30-second wrap-up of that. Myself and good friend Chelsea, who helps out with a bit of the driving, logistics and camera work when we're doing these live Zoom sessions. There's a few people watching this who would have tuned in to our BFOP. I know that for a fact. Thank you guys for tuning in. We did 1,500 kilometres in 2.5 days around Tasmania. We went to the west coast, to the north coast, to the northeast. The highlight of the trip was probably the last sunrise atop the Ben Lomond National Park mountain range. It was -6. We had an absolute cracking sunrise, which will pop up on the screen now. And bang. And -6, our camera bags froze over.
Wow.
We turned around at the end of the live Zoom that we did, and our camera bags were white and all our clips were frozen together, and that was pretty cool. I wore a onesie the whole episode. It was great. But it was great. We had over 550 people tune in through the whole festival. I think we had an average of a couple hundred people watching us each session. Really, really cool. We had heaps of great photographers there presenting, and everyone is already wanting 2022 to hurry up and come along so we can get up to Bright and do it for real. But really, really cool, great organised. Thanks to everyone who listens to the Down South Photo Show, who came along and watched live online. I saw a couple of Hairy Tog t-shirts on the screens as I was doing stuff. So that's more than 30 seconds, isn't it? That is.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thanks, guys. It was great.
You had the floor. No worries at all.
Thank you.
It's funny because having said that the thunderstorm has sort of passed me by, I don't think it has. My lights just flickered and I just heard another big rumble out there. Yeah, so I'm going to go and get amongst that. I'm going to go and have a look, see if I might get myself a couple of lightning photos while I'm out and about. Does it do long exposure, your iPhone? Yes, it does. Everything, Cameron. Does okay. Throw the towel in, mate. It's over. Cool. Now, the last thing we need to do before we go, 200 subscriber giveaway. Yes. What are you giving away? I'm going to give away. I'm not going to give away an iPhone. I'll give you my old iPhone. Someone will take you up on that. You watch. Anyone want an iPhone XR? No. My daughter wants my iPhone XR because, of course, she does. Yeah. No, I'm going to give you one of my prints. I will send out a 16 by 24 inch signed print. You can choose your own print from my gallery. So whoever is the 200th subscriber. So on YouTube. Subscribing, folks. On YouTube. On YouTube. On our YouTube channel. YouTube. I'll put that in the notes so we don't rip someone off. That's right. So we don't get that wrong. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So thanks for putting up with the technical glitches tonight, Cam. Sorry about that. More my end than yours, but we got there. And if anyone's smart enough, if they go to YouTube and they get to 199, or they can unsubscribe and then try and resubscribe again to become the 200th person, we're going to watch you. Don't do that. We're going to know who you are. Just keep that in mind. So. Yes, no, we will watch out for that. So no sneaky stuff, all right? But we will see you guys. You're all done, Cam? I'm done, mate. Yeah, I'm just watching the storm radar making its way down to you on the side here. It's coming. All right, we will see you next week for episode 18 of the Down South Photo Show. Thanks for listening. See you then. Happy shooting, guys. Cheers.